The end of the year and the start of a new one tend to blend together, particularly when the holiday bills start rolling in and anxiety over finances take over. Well, let's welcome back former attorney and wealth and business mentor, Shamina Taylor, who's back to discuss overcoming financial fear in the new year. That is probably one of the things I don't think about exercising or diets. I think about money when the new year starts, and I can't tell you, I've sweat over it a little bit.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me back again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know, now that we're here in the new year, we're always worried about how are we going to have more money to do things in this year, but then we'll take the financial things that happened last year and bring them into this year, and then create that anxiety over and over again.
Right. Yeah.
So what I like to do is, like, when you're looking at what you want to create for the new year, sit down and look back at what did you like and what didn't you like about what happened in the previous year. You know, if you can start taking tally of seeing what went right and what went wrong, then you can start having an action plan of going forward.
I like that, having an action plan.
Right.
I think also another thing to remember is that we're not alone. So when we start making that plan, I realize it's good to sort of visualize a brighter future ahead, but how do you also kind of come to terms with your reality and what you need to do to proceed?
I feel like we have a lot of fear around money, and I feel like if we can face this fear and identify it, then we don't let it like drive us. For many people, they're worried about money running out or there's not enough. And so if we can start identifying some of the fear when it comes, it's very emotional. Money's very emotional. So we're like, how are we gonna have more of it? So I always say, when you're going to go out spending your money, how are you feeling? Do you feel guilty about it, your purchases? Do you feel like you shouldn't spend? You know, identify where that fear is coming up, because when you can identify the fear, you can then move through it. So now that you can identify further, in, you know, unexpected things will come up and you'll be able to handle it then.
Yeah. And then what about creating a budget?
Well, I feel like budgets are great, but I also feel like let's have some more wealth come in so you can do more with the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not more of a restrictor, because I feel like even in this lifetime, you should be enjoying some of the wealth. So for me, I teach about creating more wealth, having more instead of pulling back, because then your lack and scarcity mindset will start showing up when you have to cut things out. Like, I'm the first person that'll say, keep your Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's completely different because it makes you happy and it
You're
makes you feel
probably like
good.
the first person that I've ever heard say that.
I teach it differently. I feel like money's there for us to enjoy.
Yeah.
So if we don't fear it and we enjoy it and we buy things that make us feel good, we're not sitting there restricting all the time and looking, because when you're in that lack, you're going to create more of it. But let's say going to have a coffee or whatever it is daily, it makes you feel good, you're going to start feeling abundance and you'll start feeling wealth. So, you know, if things do come up, you'll be able to handle it. And I think a lot of people look back and they look at what they could have saved with money, but how many things brought you joy?
Yeah, right.
You know,
yeah,
it's like, I'm about creating more wealth and having more instead of pulling it back.
What do you say to people who claim that money doesn't bring you happiness?
I would say money can apply to certain things, can bring happiness. It doesn't necessarily.
I agree.
Buy that, but what I want to say is,
wholeheartedly, I agree.
I mean, vacations, the things that you want, but if you see the connection of how it feels, you can, and you know how to work it. Money could be your greatest asset and not something that you fear in life, you know?
And what about for people who are in this job, a career, whatever it is, and they don't have the extra time outside of their schedule to earn more money? So what should they do? I mean, how do we kind of get over that hump and maybe work through the exhaustion at the end of the week to maybe start a new business or sell a hobby or something?
Well, I always feel like earlier I was saying you have a great job because you love what you do every day.
Sure.
So if you have something that brings you joy, maybe it might not be your current income generator, maybe there's something else that you haven't done. Maybe write a book, or maybe you've got a craft that you can like start selling on Etsy, or there's certain things that you can create that fulfill you and that can bring in the extra, because I always feel like there's more.
Yes.
They're printing money right now.
Right,
so
yeah,
let's so let's just open our hands and get some. So I mean, if you can open up another avenue or revenue stream, then you can enjoy it more. And for me personally, I feel like we have 7 or 8 revenue streams that are available for us that we can bring money in.
And when is a good time to start consulting with an advisor? What kind of wealth do you need to have in order to do so?
I would say start right away.
Really?
I mean, for me, a lot of people are afraid to look at their bank accounts because they don't have money, or they're afraid to do certain things because they don't have the money yet. But what if you start preparing and getting yourself into that state of being with the money being there? Because then the money will start coming. But if you're like, I don't have any, it's not here, I'm not going to do this yet, then of course it's going to avoid you.
Yeah.
But if you start preparing for it and get to an advisor or start, you know, identifying that I'd like to have more to purchase this, it will find you.
It will find you. I love that. I love that.
One more thing I want to say though is like when you look back on the previous year, there's something that I know for many of us, we always look at what went wrong with money.
Yeah.
I want you to start doing an evidence-based list of what went right. Because if you can sit there and go, look at all the things that I did with money this year, or the wealth that I brought in, or what was so amazing, you will start feeling like, hey, this is actually working instead of positive mindset. It will shift everything for you.
Isn't that amazing? I love it. I love the optimism. You're fantastic. Shamina Taylor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Great to have you. We're back after this.